The Tesla Semi is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the most successful things that Tesla has ever developed. It is undoubtedly on par compared to the idea of an autonomous Robo Taxi. These innovations can bring about significant shifts in how we move people and things worldwide. In its current state, our nation's transportation infrastructure is, at best, ineffective and, at worst, lethal. Furthermore, it is a never-ending source of toxic pollution, which is terrible for both people and the planet. Therefore, we need to work on fixing that. And the solution won't come in the form of a single product or business. Rather, there needs to be a shift in the system as a whole in order to solve the problem. On the other hand, if we had at least one fully autonomous heavy-duty transport truck operating on public roads, that would be an excellent place to begin. With their FSD beta release program, Tesla is developing the software for their autonomous vehicles in a manner that is pretty accessible to the public. This is happening on the software side of things. However, on the hardware side, the progression of the Tesla Semi and its critical charging infrastructure is a little more under the radar. It might go unnoticed by the majority of people. As such, we'll spend some time today reporting on the most recent information regarding the Tesla Semi, how it will be rolled out, how it will manage to charge, and how the Tesla Semi fits into an industry that is constantly changing in terms of transporting cargo. So let's get going. When discussing the Semi, it is difficult to avoid mentioning that this is now the product that has been delayed the furthest out of all of Tesla's many delayed offerings. Unveiled in 2017, there was too much excitement surrounding it at the time. These were scheduled to go into production in 2019 but were delayed. Now, obviously they did not, and we don't want to linger too much on that fact because it's good that Tesla did not deliver this product in 2019, which is why we don't want to discuss further the fact that they didn't. After all, it would have been a terrible experience overall. A decade of development time would have been lost as a result of the idea of an electric transport vehicle. Trucking is a very well-established and essential sector. As a result, if you want to launch a very disruptive product into this market, you must either do it perfectly or not at all. If you want to disrupt the trucking industry, you must do it correctly or not. In 2019, Tesla did not have the technological advancement to meet the initial promise of the Semi. In other words, the promise was never going to be kept. As a direct consequence, they could not fulfill that pledge. It is beyond my ability to comprehend how anyone working for that company could have seriously believed they would be successful. Even now, 3 years later, Tesla is only just beginning to approach the point where they are prepared to make this thing a reality. I suppose the true intention behind that was to generate early interest and secure some high-profile pre-orders, both of which Elon successfully accomplished thanks to his persuasive sales pitch. By 2018, Tesla had logged 2,000 pre-orders for the Semi in the neighborhood. Even though the initial delivery date had been missed, the company continued to receive orders for the vehicle. Late in 2020, Walmart Canada announced that they would increase their demand for Tesla Semi trucks to 130 cars. Group Enterprises have placed a deposit for 150 semis with the option to purchase 350 more of the vehicle if they find it satisfactory. It is also important to note that a deposit of 20,000 United States dollars per truck is required for each pre-order. These businesses are not interested in playing the waiting game. Instead, they are serious purchasers. When we talk about companies that have placed large orders, we should mention that PepsiCo and its subsidiary Frito-Lay are currently waiting on their own order of 100 Tesla Semis. And for whatever reason, the Frito-Lay facility in Modesto, California, has become the center of action for everything related to the Tesla Semi. The irony is that an electric truck designed to make the world cleaner and healthier will deliver Pepsi and potato chips is not lost on us. That is rather unfortunate to hear. This Frito-Lay facility became the location of the world's first ever Tesla Mega Charger station to be installed outside of one of Tesla's own facilities in January of 2022. And then in the middle of June, it was found out that the same Lay's plant has since added a second Mega Charger to its facilities. The Tesla Mega Charger is a particular heavy-duty version of the Tesla Supercharger that will ensure that the Tesla Semi remains operational while it is out on the road. This is due to the fact that the amount of power that can be extracted from the charger is said to be 1 megawatt. The maximum amount of energy that can be generated by the Mi3 supercharger at the moment is 250 kilowatts. Because 1 megawatt is equal to 1,000 kilowatts, this provides 4 times the power necessary to charge the Semi. It is anticipated that this feature will have the ability to restore 400 miles of range to the massive battery pack of the Semi truck in less than half an hour, and drive at the maximum speed of 500 miles per hour over the entire range. When the battery is nearing capacity, the electric vehicle charging process must be slowed down significantly. Because of this complicated explanation, the numbers may appear to be off in some way. Anyway, Frito-Lay has been giving us some views of the Semi and the charging infrastructure at which it operates that have never been seen before. According to Ricardo, employees at the Frito-Lay's facility have been informed that company use of the Tesla Semi is coming soon. We have heard something very similar from the Pepsi crew on more than one occasion. The previous year, it was reported that Frito-Lay would receive 15 semis by the end of 2021. This report was based on a rumor, And then it was the beginning of the year 2022, which also did not occur. Then, during his speech at the Cyber Rodeo, Elon Musk announced that Tesla would not be releasing any additional products in the year 2022. Therefore, we are unsure precisely what that entails. We do know that there have been a number of Tesla semis spotted testing on public roads throughout the United States this year. These tests have taken place in a variety of locations. Again, in the middle of June, a member of the Tesla Owners Club of Silicon Valley was driving on Highway 50 West in California when they happened to see a Tesla semi. This particular one was white, but we have also seen them in silver, blue, and red before. This particular one was white. Therefore, unless they continue to manufacture the same truck over and over again, there must be a good number of these vehicles currently in circulation. A few days later, on June 17, a white semi-truck was seen at the Michigan International Speedway in Detroit, which is located a significant distance away from Detroit. The following day, June 29th, witnesses reported seeing a white semi-truck delivering a prefabricated Tesla supercharger station to the Laguna Seca racetrack in California. It seems that these things are making their way around. That would have been sick, and it would have made this video much better, but that didn't happen for whatever reason. A temporary facility close to Tesla's battery factory in Spark, Nevada, has been responsible for producing all of the more recent models or prototypes of the semi that have been spotted in recent times. It was abundantly clear that there was insufficient space available in the parking lot at Fremont to carry it out there, and Giga Austin is simply not prepared to launch just yet. We are probably going to have to wait quite some time before finding out when the production line will finally make its way to Giga Austin, which will serve as its permanent home. Elon appears to have his sights set firmly on the fact that the Cybertruck will follow the Model Y as the next vehicle to enter production in the state of Texas. We are aware that later on in this year, Tesla will import from Italy a variant of their Gig press casting machine that is both new and significantly more powerful. We've also heard that Tesla has placed an order with a German supplier for production equipment that will be used to build Cybertruck drive units. This information comes to us courtesy of the German supplier. It's possible that some of that stuff could double as components for the semi. Nevertheless, it is reasonably apparent that the semi will continue to be a low priority until the Cybertruck is made available to customers. Now let's talk about that mega charger again. Ricardo, who works for Frito-Lay, was kind enough to send over some photographs that show the mega charger, its connector, and its cable in greater detail. And a charger for an electric vehicle has never presented us with anything quite like this before. To begin, this connection port is entirely unique in comparison to the one that Tesla employs on their mass-produced automobiles. It is much larger and has a row of 3 smaller round connectors in addition to 2 more comprehensive multi-pin connectors that are next to each other. Then the cable to which it is attached is a monstrous creature. This charging cable utilizes liquid cooling and has a woven insulation layer. The cooling liquid will flow into that enormous electrical socket, and the heat will be pulled away from the charging port. This will enable the charger to keep its maximum output for a more extended period of time. Therefore, this is the most critical factor in turning this semi into a beneficial and environmentally friendly product that can directly replace a diesel-powered truck. It goes without saying that the total range is significant, but the rate at which it can be refilled is arguable and even more essential factor. A typical semi-truck will have 2 enormous fuel tanks secured to the sides of the truck. The driver will have a range of somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 miles on a single tank of gas with those. Batteries, on the other hand, will never be able to match that level of performance. At this point in time, the human driver is the factor that determines the maximum distance a truck can travel. I don't believe this will ever change, at least not without some spectacular technological advancement. They are only allowed to drive for 11 hours at a time, with a 1-hour break in the middle of that shift. After that, they are required to have a 10-hour break before beginning their next shift. Therefore, a driver will most likely cover 600 to 650 miles during the course of a change while traveling at average highway speeds. That's a little bit more than the $500 claimed to buy Tesla right now for the semi, but it's not much more. That's pretty damn close to the asking price. Even better, if a mega charger is available where the driver goes on vacation, we can recharge our electric vehicle in a lot less time if they stop for an hour. After that, the range will be completely restored to its original 500 miles by the time they get back to the truck. Therefore, this will give a maximum potential capacity per shift of 1,000 miles, which is further than the driver will be able to travel in their 11-hour shift alone. Again, I'm not a trucking expert, and this whole example is predicated on a Tesla mega charger in a convenient location, which won't be the case for quite some time. Nevertheless, I'm going to continue to make this point. However, this is just one example to show that the concept of using electric vehicles for long-distance trucking isn't as outlandish as one might initially believe it to be. It is not beyond the realm of possibility at all, and the introduction of the Tesla Semi into the trucking industry will come at a very significant time. The Environmental Protection Agency in the United States recently submitted a new proposal for the spring of 2022, and it has been brought to our attention. In the United States, tractor-trailer rigs would be subject to stringent new tailpipe emissions regulations if this new plan, which is being led by Vice President Biden, is implemented. The EPA has proposed mandating a 90% cut in nitrogen oxide emissions from all large trucks and buses by the year 203. These pollutants give in to the production of smog and soot. The regulations would start being enforced in 2027 and would become significantly more stringent in 2030. Therefore, this raises the question of whether or not it is even possible to accomplish this with a diesel engine to reduce smog levels by 90% of the current standard. And if you could you tell me what kind of impact that has on the engine's performance? Suppose we cast our minds back to the days when tailpipe emission standards were first made mandatory for cars sold in the United States. In that case, we'll recall that automakers were forced to reduce the fuel efficiency of their engines to conform to the new regulations. Take, for instance, the Ford Mustang as a model. In 1968, a Mustang equipped with a Windsor V8 displacing 302 cubic inches could generate 230 horsepower. After the tailpipe emission standards were fully implemented in 1978, the output of Mustang with the exact 302 cubic inches Windsor V8 was only 139 horsepower. This was the year that the Mustang was discontinued. That constitutes a significant loss in productiveness. It is obvious that technology has advanced significantly since then. However, this fact causes one to question the usefulness of continuing to try to fix and improve diesel engines when the time and resources spent on this endeavor would be better spent advancing electric and battery technology. In other words, it is questionable whether or not it is worthwhile to continue trying to fix and improve diesel engines. What are your insights on the matter? How much time will it accumulate before we see the Tesla Semi making deliveries in the real world? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, we really appreciate you hitting the like button and telling us your thoughts below. This has inspired us to create more helpful content for you. As always, we look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Thanks for watching.